Today I fucked up Plaza murder my non-existent baby. Today I fucked up so, similarly to my last post here, I will preface this with my fear of doctors. I hate going to the doctor's office, and it usually makes me very nervous. When I get nervous, I tend to just word vomit and spew stupid crap. Here we go. So I recently had an unfortunate concussion. I was working as a nanny and fell off a play structure. I had previously had brain bleeding with my last concussion, so they wanted to do an MRI on me just to make sure nothing was seriously wrong. They gave me some pain meds, Ativan, I want to say, and then I was sent to the MRI. I was pretty loopy from the meds by this time, so I was making jokes with the nurse. I was so doped up that I literally had to be wheeled into the room so I wouldn't get too dizzy. She asked me a few questions before I sat down for screening. Is there any possibility that you could be pregnant? I don't think so, I replied. Well, we need you to be sure, because if you are pregnant it could harm, or even kill your baby. And as I climbed onto the MRI machine, I replied, well, in that case doc, give me a double shot of this shit, cause if I am pregnant I don't want to be. She sat there stunned, and just went back to start the machine. Did not get a double shot though. FML. Update, I'm so sorry, I was kinda fucked up, but what I actually got was a CT scan and I kinda thought they were the same thing, but I was wrong. I looked into it because I was certain that the nurse said something about radiation, and my records on my doctor's app said it was CT scan. Too long didn't read, asked a nurse to hit me with double radiation to kill a potential unborn baby. Literally this is exactly the response I would have given if I were sober, so honestly it's a 2-for-1 deal. I guarantee you that the nurse was trying not to die of laughter. I did something similar while completely sober. I said I don't think I am, but if I am I don't want to be, so go ahead. Nurse was not impressed and made me do a pregnancy test. I was not pregnant anyway. See, we always know we're not pregnant, just give us the MRI day. Okay, just to make you feel better. I don't tell anyone this story. I don't even think I've told my wife. 4 years ago, I was in a really bad car accident. 3 days into my hospital stay, I hadn't had a BM. I threw up the stuff they gave me to try to make me go, so they finally went the other direction. Gonna spoiler the rest so you're not grossed out if you get squicked. Exclamation mark. They told me to try to hold in whatever they left for at least an hour. 35 or so minutes in, I couldn't hold it anymore. When I was finally finished and was able to call a nurse, I proudly told her I'd given birth to a poop baby. Exclamation mark. In my defense, I was also hopped up on hella pain meds for my broken bones and stuff. OMFG, you made my Saturday. This is the kind of inappropriate jokes I make and I get looks, and in hindsight I am like, WTF is wrong with you? Talk about social suicide, you are awesome. Smiley cat face. Ha ha ha, I am so glad. 3 and yes, it for sure is social suicide, but also definitely my humor to XD. Today I fucked up and used an Ethernet cable for 9 months. Writing on mobile, apologies if the formatting is odd. Also obligatory, this wasn't today disclaimer. As many of us have been doing over the past 10 odd months, I've been working from home a lot more. There's a lot of paper-based processes that need doing as part of my job, but last March I was fortunate to be given the opportunity for me to work from home, and I was given a laptop for this. It worked fine the day I brought it home, and I was looking forward to being able to work from wherever I wanted. Bedroom? Great. Kitchen? Sure. Come the next day, however, on firing up the laptop, it was unable to connect wirelessly to my Wi-Fi. Irritating I thought, but fine. I'll use the Ethernet cable I got off one of the IT guys before I left. I'm sure it'll right itself soon. Other family members were always sat at the desk in the spare room with the main router on it, and the nice desk chair, but there was an extension router I could plug into next to the dining room table, so I sat there instead. The chairs there are rigid and wooden, and the cushions, a generous term for what is essentially a deflated piece of cloth, on them are completely flattened by years of, well, bus pressure. Not particularly comfortable, but I didn't mind too much at first. Next day, same issue, no connection. And the next, and the next. I couldn't use this laptop anywhere but my dining room table unless everyone was out, then I could nick the coveted nice desk in the spare room. I requested 1 or 2 online appointments with IT, who would reset something called the Wi-Fi drivers, I think. And it would work great, until the next day when I logged back on, and was in the same situation. I ended up not wanting to eat dinner at that table, as I'd spent the entire day at it working, so I'd eat literally anywhere else, in my bedroom, the spare room, unless I'd managed to get the desk in there that day. Just stood in the kitchen with my food, whatever. Eventually in the late summer, I was asked if I wouldn't mind starting to work in the office again. I didn't mind, I missed my colleagues and had had enough of the deflated wooden creak fest I called a home working desk chair. I started to go back in, and that was that. I didn't use the laptop for a while. As cases are rising in the UK, and I help look after vulnerable family members, I asked a few weeks ago to start working at least most of the time from home again. This was fine. I logged back onto my untrusty laptop my first morning back at home and noticed, apparently for the first time, next to the power button, glowing white, and a little button with the microphone on it, glowing white, that there was also a little button with a beacon symbol on it. This was glowing orange. Out of curiosity, I pressed it. It lit up white. The computer connected to my Wi-Fi within seconds. I'd neglected to notice that I'd had the Wi-Fi button turned off since March. I'd sacrificed my poor butt bones to the horrors of the chairs of hell in my dining room for 6 months, March to August, during my initial working from home stint, because I'd failed to catch that the Wi-Fi button was orange until December. Now, to praise the wonders of IT for fixing my laptop to my family members and don't ask me too many questions about how they did it and to sacrifice my backbones to the comfort of a beanbag in my bedroom for the next 6 months. Too long didn't read. While working at home, I sat at the same uncomfortable chair for months on end, sat in the same place because my Wi-Fi wouldn't work and I had to connect my laptop via an Ethernet cable. Discovered a few weeks ago I must have accidentally toggled the Wi-Fi button off. Edit, general grammar / punctuation. We deal with this all of the time at work with our HP laptops. Also on a lot of them, double tapping the touchpad disables it. There's a very tiny orange light that pops up in the corner. The look of their face when I double tap it real fast and go, okay, it's fixed, is hilarious. Haha. How funny. I'll have to take care double tapping. Couldn't believe how simple it was and that I'd missed it for so long. Why do HP laptops have this button? Is there even a reason? Actually no, I don't want to connect wirelessly. My Ethernet cable hasn't had enough love recently. Yeah, I know the feeling. Good on you for figuring out so you can take that knowledge to the grave. Haha, thanks. When I learned machine maintenance, you always start with the simplest items and progress up. Is it plugged in? Is there a on switch on the back as well as the front, etc. This is why I don't get offended when a service person uses this approach. It seems stupid, but a lot of times one of the things they consider straightforward and easy is the cause. Don't forget the is it plugged in. One time, it was, and I spent half hour until the guy said the power strip was turned off. It was plugged in, just no power. Yes, but think about the fidelity here. You've had a hardwired connection the whole time. That's the gold standard in working from home. You just mandated it accidentally. Smile. Sounds like your company has a shitty help desk. That would have been one of my first question I asked if I took the call or ticket. It did occur to me once I realized what the issue was, that they hadn't asked me about a Wi-Fi button. Today I fucked up by joking that our buzz staff meeting was a secret intervention. All the employees at my bar were required to attend a mandatory staff meeting. We couldn't begin the meeting until the entire staff was present, and one guy was over 15 minutes late. We heard the door open and watched him frantically run into our office. I dropped my joke, "I'm glad you decided to show up. We all took the time to be here for you. This is an intervention regarding your behavior lately." We watched all the color drain from his face and his eyes were as wide as plates. Before I could tell him I was joking, he broke down and ugly cried while confessing to a bunch of drug use and drinking and other things we knew nothing about. Our manager broke the awkward silence with an "okay, good chat." We all learned why we don't joke about interventions in a group of degenerates and alcoholics. Everyone laughed. He ugly laughed, cried. I felt so bad. Too long didn't read. I joked about holding an intervention for someone who probably needed an intervention. Update: no, he didn't lose his job. I think he embarrassed himself into sobriety. If you follow up with it, it won't be a fuck up, it'll be a time when you accidentally helped someone in need. That's like revealing an intervention with a piñata. It's not a good start. So bartenders are all alcoholics and degenerates. I mean, we were, yeah. Perfect example of you don't know what that other person might be dealing with, so keep that in mind when deciding how you act towards them. You guys owe him more than a good chat after that. I'm just waiting for someone to comment that they are one of your workmates or workmates, so to comment here. Also, I hope next time you see him you don't plan to offer him a drink.